Next project looks like it's possibly going to be master cylinder. Step on the brake. There it is, all the way to the floor. Okay, so here's our master cylinder. I've taken the cap off, obviously. Just wanted to check the fluid levels. I topped it up. It still looks topped up. You know, a couple leaks just from the front. Just because the cap here, you can see, you know, that's all little rubber in there. It's all super shot and worn out. And apologies for the wind noise if it's terribly bad. Lots of wind. And I had quite a few people coming up to me today commenting on it. You know, one old timer while I was just out here working in the driveway, you know, he actually came up and asked me, you know, if it was a 74, which it is. So good on him for that. And then two other people I was filling up at the gas station, which driving this with the brakes as is anywhere is sort of precarious. But the gas station's just down the road. Yeah, then other people were asking me, you know, what is that? And tell them it's an MGB, and one of them's like, NTB. Like, no, not NTB, MGB. It's like, oh, is it British? Yeah, it is. But they liked it, yeah. They thought it'd get great gas mileage because it's just a 4-cylinder, and it's like, it's a pig of a 4-cylinder, that's for sure. I don't know what everyone else is getting. 16 miles to the gallon out of it. Doesn't even look like a screw. That looks like a bolt or something. Get the socket and come back at it. Yeah, sure enough, it's a bolt over there. I don't know if that's just because of, you know, that's what somebody had when they put this back together, or if that's how it is on everyone else's car. But yeah, so it was Phillips head screw here, here, and here, and then this little bolt over here on the back side. Feels like it's, maybe it's just crust. Yep, it's just crust from years. Years of crust. Okay, so this switch here, okay, just simple switch that rides on this right here. So obviously when you know, step on the brake, when it's out, brake light comes on. So when the pedal is, you know, not engaged, this is pressing up against the back of it. Yeah. Oh, that's sort of cool. Oh, Jesus. Look at that globby mess. That's like melted. Oh my God. What? Gross. Well, it looks like this definitely needs redone too. So, yeah, with this pulled, that makes looking at this a lot easier. I mean, obviously you sort of have to get back in there to disconnect these fittings from the hard lines, but a few bolts there, you know, take out the cotter pins, pull these pins, disconnect this, pull these pins, cotter pins, and these pins, because I think, you know, probably have to take the pedals off to get this up out of the vehicle. Yeah, and then what do I have? Bolt there, 2 bolts there, bolt there, yeah, and 2 bolts here. And that, I mean, that boot's all shot to shit too. So yeah, complete rebuild on this, replacement for the master cylinder here, and possible rebuild, maybe even just replacement for this if it's not too terribly expensive, depending on, you know, I mean, it's fairly basic part, but if it's, you know, cheap enough to just get a replacement one of these, I'll just do that as well and save myself the headache of rebuilding that, because that is gross. Anyway, so that's it, I think, for today. New master cylinders have arrived. It's pretty quick. Guide shipped them on Monday. That's now Wednesday, and they're here. First thing I'm gonna do is just suck some of the fluid out of there, just so it's not making a mess when I go to wrangle those things out of there. So, I mean, you can tell it's dirty as hell anyway, but yeah, it's like There's some sludge down in there. I think I'll start just by pulling these off the pedals. The new brakes, the master cylinder doesn't come with this arm, so I'll need to pull this connection out of there and use it. This on both sides we have a 9/16 to pull that pin or bolt out of pedals. And I do love these long handled gear wrenches. They are awesome to get some torque on. Pedal. Sounds like maybe a washer or something fell in there that I need to pick up. And other pedal. Which fortunately that's just dropping right into where your feet go. Okay, yeah, it looks like the little roller things that were inside the pedals. It's got a bit of rust on it. Oh well. I think the next thing might be probably disconnecting the hardline back here on the clutch without, hopefully, too much fuss, without having to, you know, pull this out completely and put it on the bench or anything. So I will give that a go. Okay, so these look to be 7/16, if I can get any angle. There's one out of the way. Well, these two aren't too terribly bad, so hopefully that last one back there for the clutch doesn't give me a major headache. Alright, we're free there. Can I get to this one? I can. Yeah, these are just little Husky brand little wrenches, but they work good. Clearance in there is just because of the angle of the wrench. Alright, we're good. Now that line goes in there quite a bit. See if I can get it free. And it's sort of hung up on the body of the vehicle as well. Alright, time to grab some sockets and see if I can get to pulling this thing apart. So it looks like these bolts in this end are 7/16. Yeah, these two right here look like they're a bit larger. "10" wobble extension seems to be just right for getting in and getting all of these. Yeah, 1/2". Oh, of course. That one's 7/16 back there. It was just this one here on this side that was 1/2". Oh, Jesus Christ. So there are two holding it back up against there. See if I can see inside the car. And so it looks like they're, you know, the threads are coming through this way. I don't know. Can't quite tell. You grab a flashlight. Can't tell if those are welded to this and they come off inside the car or what. Alright, bring you along for a look. Yeah, so we have the one right back behind here, and the other one is just right there. Okay, so that was it. Yeah, I undid those two in the car, and obviously the whole thing is free now, so just disconnect heater cable from over here, and yeah, that lets me fish that through, which is the only thing sort of holding that box in there at that point, and then I could just pull the entire box out. And look how melted that was. It melted down over the nut there and just gross. Super gross. Yeah, this one's just spinning on the back side. Let's see if this does it. Yep. Broke it loose. It's spinning back there. Let's see if I can hold it. Good enough there. 1/2 inch on the bottom. I do need to get these fittings off, so while I have the impact, I'll do that. The new master cylinder came with 2 little copper washers, so that's where they go. And the ones that came with are little spring washers. This one is 5/8. And the one on that one, that was a 13/16. Okay, sometime later. Get a little work on it. I mean, obviously, taking this bracket, repainted it, or stripped it down and painted it. Same with this little shell that goes over the front here. Okay, so have things over here. Just in checking sort of initial alignment, you can see this. I need to angle this down a little more flat versus, you know, trying to bend this line. That looks like if you can see the clutch back here. I have a little bit of room, but I think before I actually bolt this in place, I'll need to get that started so I can, yeah, just get it in, because I just barely have enough, and I don't want to tweak it too much. So, start with just trying to get this in there. I think if I put this one in first, I can still have enough room to get that. Then maybe I should do this one first, just, yeah, because this one should have enough to go over top like that. So let's see. Got a little wiggle room at least. Okay, there's that one. Oh yeah, I think this one was easier to get to down here, if I recall. Yep, definitely wobble for all these, the side of the brackets in the way and everything. Can't even really get in there. I'm tempted to put some silicone goop on here to hold these in the socket. I've done that before. And where's that back one? Back in there. Down at the little British car shop when I was there, for they did a tech talk this, what was it, Wednesday, I think, Thursday, yeah, wait, no, Wednesday, yeah, Wednesday. You know, a lot of the guys there were fairly big, but one of the mechanics there at the shop, you know, was about my size, and there are benefits to being 5'7" when working on these little cars, especially if you're having to, you know, reach around in there with your little Donald Trump hands. very beneficial. Yeah, so this one, these three on this side, I'm sure. Yeah, I said it before when I was taking it apart. These are 7/16. And this one, for some reason, is larger, and it's got a 1/2 inch head on it, which I don't know why, but whatever. Looks like we're putting the little pedal assembly back together, getting that going. Trying to recall the exact positioning for these. I think this is in here, and have a washer here, and then this little doober. Maybe. Yeah, I put some molly grease inside of these, but obviously those pedals slip over those as well. And just a dab on there. Pop that guy out for a second. Fat washer. And then the fat cylinder. The other fat washer. Well, poop. This is sort of one of those 3-hand jobs. Or 3-hand jobs. What we might try doing is putting this in the pedal first. All right. One thing I had to check at the at that little tech talk I went to is just the holes in the end of these pedals to make sure they're still round, not all oblong from use, because if it's oblong then you get this weird pedal engagement and shit. Yeah, both of these to look good. So get the pins back in here. Then I also put a little molly grease on. Okay, so with these all connected back up, pedals move freely and stuff, so I know they're not binding up, didn't get that too tight or anything, and I think those little cylinders in there would prevent it from doing that anyway. But I'm just gonna put this bit on there, this little shield guy, and we'll see if I can get these in place without losing anything real quick. So I'd also at least like to make an attempt to try to get it without scratching up a bunch of finish, so we'll see. Alright, try to pressurize and bleed the brakes. Tomorrow I don't think I'm going to do the rear brake upgrade this weekend. I'll save that for when I can get it into the garage, get it up on the ramps, and make sure I get some good angles of that, because I haven't seen anybody put that kit online, or videos of it. So I'm going to try to do that. Got it from, well, I got it off eBay, but it's a guy, I guess their shop or whatever they're called, Scarebird. But yeah, they do various rear brake conversions from drum to disc, and yeah, surprisingly I haven't seen any YouTube install videos of it, and I haven't really seen many people mention it on the MG forums, though it seems like they sell enough of them that there should be somebody mentioning it out there. So I'm gonna, you know, do a video of that all by itself, because, you know, I'd like to have a dedicated video for that out there, you know, both for, you know, just the MG communities, for them to see how it installs, how it works and stuff like that, and, you know, send it over to Scarebird as well if, you know, they want to reference that for, you know, sort of the amateur mechanic installation. So I'll do that. That's probably a couple months away though, so at bare minimum should have some much better brakes going on in here. We'll see. That's it. You can see up through there, it looks like the bleeder is on top there. Yeah, I think I'll pop the wheel off anyway, just to try to get a better shot of that. Totally looks to be in pretty good shape still. Doesn't look like anything's wrong there. I don't see any real cracks in it, and it's still, you know, pliable without being soft in any places. What I'm gonna do is top off the master cylinder up there, and also load up my pressure canister. I have one of those Motive pressurized brake bleeders, so get that going. Sealed up on the top, and see if I can't get this one bled real quick. Okay, got things mostly set up. Have a tube coming off there, going into a little soda bottle just to catch that stuff. And might just have to get a box end on there or something. I'd rather not do that, but looks like that may be the case. Alright, so I'm able to get one of my, slip this over here, and that gives me plenty of leverage on there. Alright, that's dripping in there. And here's a little pressurized bleeder thing I have. So, if I can't pop this cap on there and get some fluid in the reservoir here and bleed this out. Well, not perfect. I have a couple drips up there, so I have a rag going, but we'll see if just basically keep that going until I don't want to be seeing bubbles anymore. It looks pretty good to me. It's cleared up, so just tighten this guy back down, and we'll call this one good. Well, definitely not an optimal way. I'm sure I have something else here, but this is, seems to be the same size as yeah, it's one of these, like a regular bit hex. So I'll go with that. Just loosen it up a bit, hopefully enough to be able to just spin it. Yeah, well, fluid should definitely be coming out, so I'm going to go back up there and pressurize it and see. Well, nothing coming out of it. Nothing coming out of there, so. And we still have pressure in there. Boop. So yeah, what he was saying at that point was, when this happens, sometimes what can happen is here's a proportioning valve here. And sometimes things get there's a little piston that slides back and forth to do the proportioning, and sometimes it gets bottomed out on one side or stuck or something like that. And so he said to bleed, you know, just loosen the pressure off one side and let the fluid sort of spill out past there. And that sometimes makes the little piston slide to where it should. I forget which one is which though. I mean, I know which side goes to the rear brakes, but I forget which side he was saying to let bleed. So I'll just try both and see what happens. Fluid's coming out around there. All right, not sure if this helped or not, but I went in and stepped on it and I heard a spurt out the back. And yeah, all right, we're happy again. Here's our Simondo bubbles. Alright, looks like bubbles for the most part are gone, and it's coming out a lot clearer than before. Yeah. I'm hammering on it, it's making some more bubbles come out, so I'll give it a few taps, I guess. And let's bleed her back up just by turning the hose a bit, enough to where it stops, and take it back down with a screwdriver handle. All right. So that's the bleeding on the brake cylinder. I guess on one side. Bleeding the brakes. Yes. Start over on that. That is bleeding the brakes, at least on the driver's side. So I'm going to put everything back together, do the same on the passenger side, and then I'll do the clutch. Well, maybe I'll take a look and see where the clutch is right now, since the car's up on this side. I guess it just depends on which side the master cylinder's on, or the slave cylinder. If the slave cylinder's on the passenger side, then I'll take care of it when I get to that side. So I'll go check on that right now. Okay, the clutch cylinder is on the passenger side, so button this back up, do the brakes on the passenger side, and then get to the clutch while I'm over there. And based on the leaking, I'm not super happy. The leaking of the little cap I made on there. I might just, gravity bleed, or, just sort of try to one-person bleed, just, manually pumping the clutch pedal, because it doesn't have much of a reservoir. And so, I mean, hopefully, like 1 or 2 pumps should do it. And it's a fairly straight shot down there, so it's not like bleeding the back brakes where there's a bunch more line. But either way, when I go to do that, I will set the camera back up and see if I can't capture some video doing it. Here's the drain for the clutch slave cylinder. Disregard all the active rust prevention going on down here. It is a British car. Go press the clutch pedal real quick. That's looking good. It doesn't help that, the little clutch reservoir is only that big and you're trying to pour into that. Maybe a funnel would help. I don't have a funnel at the moment. So I'll put this back on, or drop that down there. Yeah, unfortunately, you can see the brake fluid getting down there. It's taken off. I did some touch-up paint just to sort of cover up the metal, but the brake fluids that's leaked out is working its wonders. So yeah, overall not bad. Motive cap though didn't work out as intended. So trial and error. Yeah, they were using a vacuum bleeder down at the shop, so maybe I'll look into getting one of those. So the only thing is it requires you know, an airline, which I have an airline, which isn't that bad. Getting it down at the end of the driveway is, you know, it's not a total chore, but it's not the most fun thing. But once I have stuff in the garage, you know, I might go that way with it. So now it's just getting it off the stand, yeah, taking it for a little test drive and making sure everything works. So hopefully it does and I don't crash and burn.